Hey, how's it going? My name is Andy Monroe. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can leverage social proof to increase the conversions of your live events, both virtual and in person. As I'm sure you know, social proof is an extremely powerful tool that you can use to influence buying behavior. And after dozens of events, thousands of attendees, and millions of dollars in revenue, we have found a few social proof strategies that you can plug into your events to start increasing conversion. All right, with all that being said, let's jump into Miro now. So I was very excited to draw for you inside of Miro, by the way, but I realized very fast I can't draw with a mouse, and anything that I do draw, you just wouldn't be able to read it. So I'm going to be typing stuff out today. I think it should still get the job done, but if you absolutely hate it, just let me know down below in the comments. But the first way that you can start engineering social proof into your events is by inviting your pre-existing members. Now, this may be a little contradictory to what I said in my last video, which was maximizing the amount of buyer units that you have at your events, which you still want to do. You still want to have a lot of buyer units at your events. Those are the people that are going to be buying your offer and upselling into your program. But it's important to have pre-existing members at your events as well, because they are living, breathing, walking salespeople and testimonials that will be advocating for you and your brand and your program. Only if you have a good product and you actually deliver a good service and you deliver good results and people are proud to be working with you. But if you accomplish that, then these people are going to be spreading the word as if they're spreading the gospel around your event, talking to all your attendees, mingling with them, and being like, oh, like, by the way, I'm actually inside of the program. It's been a great experience. And your attendees can ask them questions. And if you have a good product and you've delivered good results, these people are just going to be subconsciously selling the other attendees and priming them for your offer. So as you can see, this works really well for in-person events. You can also create a specific experience for your pre-existing members. You can give them exclusive merchandise. You can give them their own VIP area to hang out in. You can give them their own unique lanyards, and you can kind of make them celebrities at your event. And everyone that's walking around is going to see either the members themselves with their merchandise and their lanyards, or they're going to walk by their VIP room and be like, oh, like, what's this? Like, how can I get in there? I want it to be in there. There's food, there's coffee. Like, it looks pretty fun. And it's going to get the questions going, and people are going to be wondering what that's all about, which is what you want to be doing. You want to be anchoring the program that you're selling throughout your entire event. But this also works with virtual events as well. If you have your pre-existing members tuning into your virtual events, they're going to be commenting during the event, talking about how amazing you are and your brand is. They could be DMing other attendees during the event that maybe have some objections in the chat. And also, if you have a place for your attendees to mingle and connect, maybe it's a school community or a Facebook group, having your pre-existing members inside of those communities as well is a good place for them to start mingling and connecting with the other members or the other attendees, which achieves the same goal as if it were in person. They're just naturally selling and talking about you, your product, your program, and how good you are at what you do, which is subconsciously selling people and priming people for your offer. So inviting pre-existing members to your events is a great way to engineer social proof into your events to increase conversions. Now, the second strategy that I want to talk about is actually having your members speak. Having your members speak at your events is amazing. And the reason it's amazing is because it's kind of the same thing as the inviting pre-existing members to the event, but it's one more level deeper, one more level higher, whichever one you want to go, whichever direction you want to go. Having your members up on stage is one of the best testimonials and one of the best pieces of social proof that you can have at your event, because you're giving your students, somebody that you helped achieve success, a platform to speak at your event, and they're literally talking about their journey of transformation that they experienced by working with you. So if you anchor them as somebody that you have worked with, they're inside of your program, they're somebody that you have helped, when they're up there talking about their success and their journey, the attendees are going to be like, wow, like this was made possible because of this person that's hosting the event. And that is just some amazing social proof. And another thing that's very cool about this is we talk a lot about the gap on this channel and how the gap is very important for events, the gap between your attendees' current situation and their desired outcome, and how your event is kind of taking them on this journey, and your offer is positioned as the thing that will completely close the gap between their current situation and their desired outcome. And your event is meant to agitate that gap and bring awareness to that gap so that you can close it for them. I was actually talking to one of my marketing friends recently. We were doing a podcast together, and he talked about this as sleep. Like, the analogy he used was sleep. Like, you can only become aware of something when you're sleeping when it's uncomfortable or there's pain. You're kind of on autopilot throughout the night, but if you have to pee, or maybe somebody like rolled over on your leg, maybe you slept on your arm weird, whatever it is, you can only wake up out of that sleep state if you feel something that's uncomfortable and that's painful. And that's what you're doing during your event. You want to bring awareness to this pain, their current situation, and their desired outcome so that you can help them close that gap and help them achieve their goals. But that's kind of a tangent right there. The people that you have speak on stage will be displaying this gap, but your attendees, or not your attendees, your members, the people that have been through your program, they are going to be actually displaying the transformation that your attendees want to go on. They are somebody that joined your program and they found success, and that's what your attendees want to do. So if they see somebody up on stage that maybe was in their seats a few years ago and they are now talking about how they found all the success after they joined your program, that is crazy social proof, and that is going to significantly increase your conversions. The next strategy that I want to talk about is having a student panel. And this is very similar to having your members or your students speak up on your stage. Number two, this is the point we just talked about. But this is just having more people up on stage, and it's in the form of a panel instead of a keynote presentation or somebody having their own time. And this can actually be more effective because you get more people up on stage, or more people, whether it's on Zoom or in person, you get more people in front of the attendees' eyes that have seen success with your program and using your strategies. And what you can do is you can actually engineer the conversation to handle any objections or false beliefs that your attendees have. And you can also use this conversation to, again, display that gap of the current situation, desired outcome, and how those students, those successful students that you're having speak, were able to close that gap between their current situation and desired outcome by working with you and using the strategies you teach and using your program. All right, the last strategy that I want to talk about, there might be more, I might make a part 2 to this video, but just to protect your time, I know you're busy, I want to talk about stories. Stories are an amazing way to incorporate social proof into your events. And really, whenever you are teaching something or there's an activity going on, whenever you're talking to your attendees, which you're doing a lot during events, in this one-to-many fashion, you should be telling as many stories as possible. And what these stories do is, one, we just learn better when we hear stories. There's a lot of data that shows that people learn better by hearing stories than just hearing, facts and logic. It's good to reinforce stories with logic or reinforce logic with stories, whatever order you prefer to put it in. Something else that stories do that was also emphasized in point number 2 and point number 3 is they put the transformation that you're taking your attendees on full display. You're telling a story of how somebody was once at point A, they got to point Z, and they did it by using this strategy, this method, this path forward. And that is just so extremely powerful because the people in your audience, your attendees, they are currently at step 1, phase 1, at the current situation, and they are starting to become aware of that desired outcome. Your event is bringing awareness to the gap. They're learning all this amazing stuff. They're hearing all these speakers, and they see where they want to go. And as you tell stories, you're telling these stories, these repetitions of people that are going from point A to point Z, from current situation to desired outcome, and that is instilling belief in the attendee that they can do it as well. And the last thing I want to mention about stories is they can actually reinforce social proof and create more social proof at your event if you tell them right. So if you center all of your stories to be about either yourself and how you have found success with the stuff that you're talking about, or your students and how they have found success with the stuff that you're talking about, that's all. Yes, that's going to be visualizing the transformation that your attendees want to go on. It's going to be bringing awareness to the gap, instilling belief, handling objections, all that good stuff. But it's also going to be associating social proof with yourself, your brand, and your program, because you're just pulling out all of these stories. Like, about here's this client that I helped achieve X result, and you tell the story about that, and here's how I did it with myself, and here's how I did it for this other client, and here's how I did it for this other client, and I was working with this person, and here's how we did it. And you have all of these different stories that you're telling, and the attendees are either consciously or subconsciously being like, wow, like this person has done this a lot and they have seen a lot of results, and it's obvious that what they're doing works, and it starts to build that trust, it builds that rapport, it handles objections, and it really primes them for that moment where you present them with a chance to work with you further. So 4 ways that you can engineer social proof into your events to increase conversions. Number 1 is to invite pre-existing members to your events. Number 2 is having your members speak at your events. Number 3 is having a student panel, and number 4 is incorporating as many stories as possible into your event. So thank you so much for watching. I hope these strategies were helpful, and I hope that you can implement them into your events and start to see more success with your events. If you are a coach, consultant, or community owner that is currently hosting events and not seeing the results that you want, or you want to start hosting events but you just don't know where to start, make sure you click the link down below. And also, if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be super helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.